with a visitor list like the Dogs had, you can't get out of this one without a little bit of buzz. I'm Wes Blankenship, Rusty Manziel, Jake Roos, Palmer Toms joining me. Jake Rowe has the night off. Guys, what's your takeaway? Rusty, what you hearing? What's your vibe on how some of these guys took this visit and how they reacted to it?
Well, I want to say a good big thank you to Chad Simmons, who chipped in today. Big deal. Helped us out for all the stories on DawgsHQ, and I got what I could get, and we're Roos has already got some stuff. Palmer's working on some stuff, so big visit weekend. It takes everybody, but certainly can't go on without saying a big thanks to Chad Simmons. Got several guys, and position of need, which is a massive, massive position of need. And you look at Justin Scott, and you look at Justin Green, and those guys are major targets for Georgia. I think they both had really good visits this weekend. So, like I said on the board, through the years, I've kind of learned to be kind of careful of that visit high. A lot of kids will make it a decision now. They'll make a decision, but a lot of them will come off these visits, especially this first one, and it's like, this is the one for me. But then they start taking 3 or 4, and they're like, kind of confused again. So you look at these guys and the people that were there this weekend. Obviously, it starts with Dylan Raila, number 1 player in the country, Georgia quarterback commit. He was there working, and we'll see how this weekend plays off. But I was in Nashville this week, so I do want to say one thing about Ellis Robinson and his family. What an awesome group, people to meet with and listen to, and kind of just learn who they are. And his dad is, I'm telling you, he could not speak any higher of Fran Brown and Will Muschamp. And he just said, listen, he's the number 1 cornerback in the country. You see right there, he's a 5-star. He's a number 1 industry rated cornerback in America, plays at ING Academy, and everybody's still after him. But his dad told me, Fran Brown, Kirby Smart, and Will Muschamp, to have your son play for 3 guys that know how to coach DBs, he goes, man, he's going to Georgia.
This is a big Fran Brown show. Maybe one day we'll have him on here. But I know, Roos, you're a huge fan, huge supporter in the Fran Brown fan club, the Fran Club. Is that sentiment copy and paste with these elite DBs? And if so, that has to be just a dream scenario for Kirby Smart as he is building wave after wave after wave of elite secondary groups, not just players, not just individuals, but position groups across the board.
Yeah, I mean, and I think what's really impressive about how Georgia's done it is they've been able to keep it rolling when you've seen a lot of turnover at that position with Jamal Adai. You had Mel Tucker there. You had Charlton Warren. And now I feel like personally, Fran Brown has elevated it to a higher level than it's been the whole time. I mean, no shine off of those other guys. They brought in some fantastic players, but the way that kids talk about Fran Brown and the way that he's able to connect with guys is what's so stunning to me. And you hear it from Ellis Robinson. Almost every time he and I have talked, he mentions the relationship with Fran having started at Rutgers and how long that's been building. And I mean, what a tremendous evaluation to spot this kid early and to build that relationship and then to bring it into Georgia. You just can't really say enough about what the guy's done. And like I said, I feel like he's really elevated the position. The tough thing is going to be, I think, holding on to Fran Brown for a long time because he's going to have a lot of opportunities to go to a lot of places. Not to say that that's imminent, but that guy's headed for big things. I think head coach one day is probably not far off of the radar. And I think we heard as much. I think Matt Rule said something to that effect at one point as well. So, but yeah, tremendous weekend for Georgia overall. Had a chance to touch base with a couple of these guys, and the buzz continues to be very strong. I mean, it's very positive around Georgia right now. Daniel Calhoun, great piece up by Jeremy Johnson over on the site with him.
Jeremy crushes it. Yep.
Yeah, Jeremy's awesome and did a great piece with Daniel Calhoun. Definitely a guy I think people need to have their ears up on. For sure. I think that's a big position of need in this class. There's not a lot of guys at the offensive line position as good as Daniel Calhoun in this cycle. And, this is a situation where they want to keep an elite guy in state. And I think they got a really good shot at doing so from everything that I'm hearing.
I mean, he's huge, 6'6", 360.
And what's wild about him is he's been that big since he was in like 8th grade. I mean, I remember seeing him. I remember the first time I spotted him on a sideline, and I was like, "Who is this?" And he was like 13. I mean, he was gigantic. And I think that's really advantageous for a guy too. To be that big that early, you kind of learn how to use your body a little bit more, and kind of work with that frame. But like I said, the buzz is positive around Georgia. I know everybody's not hearing everything they want to hear, with 5-star wide receivers and somebody talking about Sammy Brown over here in the comments. I mean, there's it's the same stuff everybody's dealing with. But the reality is, I told somebody the other day, the sky's not falling, man. You got 16 commits in the number 1 class, and you just had your first big official visit weekend. This summer is going to tell the tale of a lot of this, but Georgia, I mean, if the cycle ended today, Georgia would have a hell of a class. That's one of the best ways to look at it, I think. So, some extra pieces to go pick up, but they're definitely trending in the right direction at some really good spots.
Well, and Roos, here's the thing with that is that I think people saw Dylan Raila commit, and then the run on commitments that came right after that scavenger hunt weekend. Well, a lot of those guys were guys that Georgia had put in a lot of work with before.
It's a little bit of a sugar high.
Exactly. And I think that, you absolutely could see the Raila effect play out, but these June official visits, kids want to take them. They don't want to go into an OV at another school committed to somewhere that they're not visiting. And so, for better or for worse, people like being pampered a little bit, and going on these trips, you absolutely get pampered. Just look at, the way that they get treated in town. And, so I don't, and Rusty, you've said this on the board, you've said this in your articles, we might see the Raila effect, but and the benefits, Georgia reaping the benefits of these June official visits and these big weekends, but it may not come until July or August. Once these kids, a lot of kids want to shut it down before their senior season. That's when that happens. July, August, right after they take those visits, they see all their options, they weigh their options. And I think Georgia is absolutely going to be an attractive one. It just may not be, we may not be seeing the commitments coming right now on June 4th.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think I mentioned on the board
the
other
some
day.
of those kids.
No, go ahead, Rusty.
Go ahead. I was going to say some of those
just
kids are taking visits as silent commits.
Oh, there you go. There's the tease.
Yeah.
There's the tease we wanted.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I assume you're referring to some of the guys in general, not this list of visitors I have pulled up on the screen here, but maybe if you are, wink twice. Dylan Raila, Willems Waneri, Ellis Robinson IV, Justin Scott, and Dylan Stewart. A few of the 5-stars, and of course Ryan Wingo there in the photo. 5-star dudes visiting Athens this weekend. And Rusty, you did you gave us a little bit of a glimpse on the board, but as compared to the often talked about, highly touted scavenger hunt that we were so well versed on a couple weeks ago, these visits are a little bit more tame. What does it look like when some of these guys get on campus, 5-star or not? What's kind of their itinerary for what they do?
This is the closest thing they'll get to being a student athlete at these universities, because they spend a couple of days there and their families are there. They see where you're going to live. You get a chance with Noeri Williams. Chad actually did a great piece on him, and he talked about spending time with Michael Williams. You know what I mean? He got to spend time with a player on the team, and he kind of basically said Michael was real with him. Like, here's what it's like to play at Georgia. Don't want to sugarcoat this thing. This is what we do. Is what and so those things. You're not out taking the pictures, and you're not looking for Coach Kirby. Like, this is a business trip. You're with your family, a couple of dinners, academic tour, some free time. Sunday morning is breakfast, I think, at Coach Smart's house, and then you do one-on-ones with your family. You get about 20 minutes, 30 minutes with Kirby Smart, and that's when you start asking questions, and he starts asking questions, and that's kind of, you find out, hey, where are you exactly at right now, and do I need to hold your spot, or are we still fighting this thing? So it's a little bit different. It is still a good time, and they get wined and dined. I mean, there's food everywhere, and they do the photo shoots on Friday nights, but it's also kind of a business trip. You see, if you're going to go to Georgia, if you're going to go to Clemson, you're going to go to Alabama, Auburn, wherever, you kind of see what it's like to live somewhere and kind of be around the pulse of those players.
I imagine if you're Kirby Smart, it's kind of like the country song about the dad cleaning his gun. All Kirby has to do is just sit there and just kind of polish both of those national championship trophies and not really say too much else for the guys he's really wondering about. Yeah, a lot more to come. And if you want a resource of where to see who's coming down the pipes next, you can go to DawgsHQ.com. I'll share the tab here. Go to DawgsHQ.com. Up at the top, you can see the football recruiting. Hover over to that and then slide on down to visits, and you can see who is coming up next. So Friday, June 9th, Thursday, June 8th. Oh, Ryan Puglisi coming in. Friday, June 9th, KJ Bolden, Mike Matthews, Edric Houston.
For every pass.
We'll see about Sammy Brown, Jordan Ross, Jordan Thomas. I mean, it's not going to stop. It's not going to slow down. And Rusty, you've told everyone that. June is the month.
What was that?
Is it an ad playing on here?
Yeah, it was a Ram ad playing in the background.
Oh, was it?
Well, we should get double dipped. We should get double dipped on the ad because that's on the podcast now.
Was it that one?
Do I get walk up music?
Can you hear me now?
No, it's good though to they've got some big ones coming up, man. Listen, this whole month is juiced. I mean, it's loaded up, and some of these guys, like I said, they got some ground to make up on. You see a guy like Edric Houston. I think they're playing from behind there. Mike Matthews is another one. It looks like USC, I think, trending pretty heavily there. Tennessee going to be a compelling option for him. But then you bring in a guy like KJ Bolden, number one safety in America, top player at his position, 5-star guy. Everybody on earth wants him too. I think Georgia's in a really good spot. But things change on a dime, man. And like Palmer said, and I think it's a really prescient point and something that people have to keep in mind. This. A lot of these guys who've taken it into the summer see it out for the most part. There'll be guys who pull the trigger, but if you're going to take it into the summer, a lot of guys are going to take it further than that. I mean, even guys look. I mean, Jeremiah Smith has even said this thing's on until signing day. He's not shutting anything down. So, and I think that's where a lot of these guys kind of move from. Listen, you're lucky when you have guys, like a Nikar. That's more of the exception than the rule in recruiting, to have a guy like that who's long-term locked in and out there representing for you, and not really looking to entertain much of anything else. I mean, so, that's the game, right? That's just what it is every year. And I think it's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out. But like you said, or like Palmer said, it's going to be a while before I think we see some of that fruit come to bear.
Before we move on, what's going on with Georgia's players right now? I know there's some like on campus helping out with some of the official visits and being their tour guides and that kind of thing. But these guys are working out hard right now too. They're in their workouts and doing what they can to get ready for the 2023 three-peat.
Player-led workouts. And they're doing 7-on-7s now. And lifting weights. This is Scott Cochran's time, or Scott Sinclair's time to shine. I mean, he's the guy. He gets the most time with these players. The strength staff can be around the players. Kirby Smart cannot be around the players. Glenn Schumann can't be around the players coaching right now. This is player-led summer workouts for about 3 or 4 more weeks. And they get one break. They get one break at 4th of July for about 4 days. And that's it. That's it for until the season's over.
There's no downtime for these dogs.